Yo, what's up, everybody? So, we just played some chip, and I thought it would be a fun little exercise to build a hero together. And it's mostly just because I kind of want to explain how I think you make a good Dota hero. Right? This is just my personal opinion, and I do also want to say that my personal opinion changes over time. It already has changed over the past few months quite a bit, and I'm always learning new stuff. Right, so it's not necessarily the ultimate perfect opinion, but I just kind of wanted to go through this and kind of explain things to you the way I see them. All right, so I've got, wait, no, that's not right. This is right. There we go. I've got this set up. So you can see here, this is my little paper here. Wait, maybe I can zoom in a bit. No, that's not right. Perfect. So now you can see I have a nice little sheet of paper here. And yes, everything is currently flipped all over the place, but you can see that I have written test. And the cool thing is that I can write it. I can write whatever I want on here, and it will be shown to you proper side up. All right, so I have a few points, but let me go ahead and just again, do another here. You know, apparently I'm bad at writing. Est. There's supposed to be a T up here. Point being, it works. So anyway, the technology. I know it's a bit dark. Let me go ahead and make it a little bit brighter for you. So, I have a few points that I believe are essential to making a good hero. And I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview here. So, the first point is I think there needs to be individual synergy between abilities. Now, that synergy cannot just be funneled through a single access point, but there need to be multiple access points for those synergies. Then I think every hero needs a broken spell. Then I think every hero needs a spell that's just good and solid and usable and just nice. I think the hero needs to have a niche. I think the hero needs to have a purpose on a team. He needs to not just be a gimmick, and he needs to have an item build. These are my current rules, I suppose. So, I want to ask chat to come and think of an overpowered ability. Right? You guys think of an overpowered ability while I explain synergies. So I've explained this already yesterday, so we'll probably keep this kind of short. But what do I mean with individual synergy between abilities? Let me go ahead and show you something. All right, so we're going to start out with a hero that has a Q, a W, an E, and an R. Now I'm going to use Tinker as an example. As I have expressed before, I believe Tinker is the worst designed hero on Dota. So, laser, missile, march, ultimate. Is there any synergy between any of these abilities? No. Is there synergy between the ultimate and the E? Yes. Between the ultimate and the W? Yes. Between the ultimate and the Q? Yes. So if you think about it, all of the synergies go kind of like this. Every synergy leads to the ultimate. And the ultimate brings that synergy back. Right? The ultimate always returns that synergy. But outside of that, there's no synergy in those abilities. So let's eliminate the ultimate from this equation. If we look at this hero like this, you will notice that there is absolutely no synergy left. So if for some reason the hero runs out of ultimate, meaning either the hero doesn't have mana, it's on cooldown, although that doesn't really apply with rearm, it's taken away in some sort of way, or maybe you're just bad and you don't know how to properly use it, which is something you have to consider while designing heroes. Not everybody is good. Then it turns out that those abilities just feel really clunky and they don't have any synergies. Right? And if you've ever played Tinker before, it really does feel like it. Like, to me, at least, that's how I feel like when playing Tinker. I feel like the Q, the W, and the E, they just have nothing to do with each other. They just don't feel like they should even be on the same hero. They only make sense because of the ultimate. Now, Tinker of course, is kind of a special example. But if we look at a different example now, I'm going to actually call out chip right here. I don't mean this with bad intent, but let's look at the channeler, right? So the channeler has this right here is a channel, right? This right here is a channel. This right here is a channel. And this right here has channel synergy, right? Channel synergy. So, yeah, cool. Okay, these abilities do kind of make a little bit of sense with each other, right? The Q slows, the W creates that vortex thing. So you want to slow them, then pull them into the vortex, except you cannot use any of these without the ultimate. So again, once I take the ultimate away, the hero just has no synergies and has nothing he can really do. Kind of not that cool, right? I don't really like that too much. Personally, I don't think that's a good hero design. Because again, you just take one of these things away and then you just have a bunch of abilities that make no sense with each other. Let's look at the different hero. And now this one is going to be a little bit more debatable, right? And by the way, I do want to point out design is not a hard science, right? You will always be able to dispute things. Not be our, damn it. Arc Warden. Let's do Arc Warden. Okay? So Q and E have obvious synergy. Right? That makes sense. Q and E have synergy. Because the E creates a little slowing field, lets you, or like creates a little thing that people don't want to walk into. The Q slows people, makes it so that people want to, makes it so you can summon this thing and have people walk into them. It slows them further, and then you can do this shit again. You can kind of punch them. Cool, makes sense, right? And then you've got the W and the ultimate. There's synergy there, because this creates an illusion that can punch things, and this right here makes it so that you attack a little bit quicker and you can punch things better. Makes sense. But there's no actual real synergy right here or between these two. Now again, this is a bit more debatable, and I can see if you don't agree with this. But my point is basically that the ultimate creates an illusion which can also cast these abilities, but these abilities don't actually synergize outside of that. Right, the ultimate doesn't synergize with these abilities. The ultimate also only lets you cast these. Right, so despite the fact that the ultimate has synergy in the sense that yes, you can use these, it doesn't actually have synergy because it doesn't actually do anything with them. It just also lets you use them. Right, the ultimate has synergy between this, but to me, whenever I play Arc Warden, to me it always feels like kind of two skill sets. Right, and that's the thing, right? I don't think Arc Warden is a terribly designed hero. I just think he's a little bit awkward at times. Because I have this skill set, this is number one, right? And this is number two. And it always seems to me like I'm playing two different things. Right? And that's not too bad. Again, this is not a huge travesty by any means. But that's just kind of what it feels like to me. Hey, Double Sunrise, thanks for giving Carlos this up. Appreciate it. And there's Dark Freeze giving Red Stake a song. So again, this right here is a bit more debatable. But let's actually go ahead and take a look at the hero that I think explains my example, or like what I'm trying to bring across here really well. Let's look at Pangolier. Okay. So we're gonna keep doing the Q, W, E, and R thing because it's just a nice way to display it. Always Pangolier. I think Pangolier is a very well designed hero, but you can use this on any hero and it will work fine. But we can also, like, I'm also going to show some other heroes. So Pangolier, right? Swashbuckle, the jumping thing, I forgot what it's called. Heart Piercer and Rolling Thunder. So first of all, there's obvious synergy here between these two, right? You use the Q, applies the E. Cool. Then there's obvious synergy here. Right? Obviously, you use the ultimate, the W, you jump up into the air. You can use this. You can use the W during the ultimate. Cool. Awesome. Shield Crash, that's what it's called. Right? So I can use the Shield Crash while I'm in Rolling Thunder. And that lets me do additional movement and all of that. Cool. Makes sense, right? Sick. Awesome. That works. But turns out there's actually a lot more synergy. If we look at this right here, these two actually also have synergy. Because I can use my Q to get myself into position for shield crash, and I can use my shield crash and then use the Q while I'm in the air to reposition the shield crash, right? So these two abilities synergize with each other because they kind of enable each other. Cool. Makes sense, right? Now, that also means that the Q actually is synergistic with the ultimate. Because I can use the W during the ultimate. So I can also use the Q during the ultimate with the W. And also I can just use the ultimate to reposition myself for the Q. So all of these kind of work together. Now the E doesn't really work with the ultimate. You know, this right here just does not have synergy with this. I mean, it kind of has indirect synergy by being synergistic with this, and this is synergistic with that, but it doesn't have a direct synergy at all. But you may notice, I can take any one part away from this, and there's a whole bunch of arrows left, right? Like there's this one still left, and there's this one still left. I take this away, and there's like, oh, crap, there's a whole bunch left, right? I can go here, and then I go down here, and that one up there. I take this one away, then there's still this one, and there's still, right, like, I don't know, this one is tricky to show, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? I take this one away, and then we've got this right here. This one would probably be the worst one to take away. And on that note, go ahead and try playing Pangolier without the Q, right? It will still kind of work, and like this right here still feels good, but he's missing something very significant. We can also look at different heroes. Let's, for example, look at Abaddon, right? Or actually, I did Abaddon yesterday. Let's do Vengeful Spirit, right? Vengeful Spirit, Abaddon, I think those are really well-designed heroes. They work great. They are just nice and solid, and they just make sense to me. So, Vengeful Spirit, Missile, Wave of Terror, the Aura, Vengeful Aura, whatever it's called, and then swap. Okay, cool. Synergy right here. Wave of Terror gives you vision. You can use Wave of Terror into the ultimate. Also synergy with this and right here, because turns out vision actually synergizes with pretty much fucking everything. So I can use Wave of Terror to use a stun, and then synergy right here. This gives me physical damage, and this reduces armor. Awesome, cool. We have got a shit ton of synergy coming in from this one already. Sick. Synergy with this lets me punch people, right? Synergy with this. I can swap and then stun to initiate. Makes sense, right? So, a whole bunch of arrows. Again, no real synergy between this one and this one. Right? Like the E and the R, they just don't really do anything together. Don't have to, because you've got a whole bunch of other arrows. And again, if I take out any one part of this, I'm still left with a whole bunch of different cool effects that all work individually. Now, that is kind of what I mean when I say that individual synergies should be existing between abilities. Right, like to kind of showcase this again, right? Like individual synergies should exist between abilities, kind of like this, and they shouldn't just be tied to a single access point, right? If you just have a single access point, once you take it away, it doesn't feel good anymore. It does not feel good anymore. Now, you can go ahead and apply this principle to a lot of heroes, right? And I'm not saying, again, that it's a hard science, but can you do Naga Siren? Sure, let's do Naga Siren. I have not thought this through for Naga Siren, but I think Naga Siren is an interesting one. So let's do Naga Siren. So let's see what kind of synergies she has, and then let's see how we feel about that. Right? So Q and E have obviously synergy. Right? You can use the Q and then the E triggers its thing. They're clearly very synergistic. The W and the E also work, because the W lets you get close for the E. Cool. Ultimate and W, yet again. And actually the ultimate and the E as well. Now the ultimate and the Q actually have hardly any synergy. Well, they don't. They don't have any synergy, right? Because Q wants you to hit things, and the ultimate doesn't let you hit things. I guess it kind of lets you get close, but that's more for the E and the W, and that doesn't really work that well. But that's fine, because it's synergistic here, and it's synergistic here, right? Then we've got the Q and the E, of course. Also Q is a physical damage spell kind of thing, and then you've got the Q and the W. With Naga Siren, pretty much every fucking ability is synergistic with everything else, with a few exceptions, right? You've got, for example, I guess just the Q and the ultimate aren't that synergistic with each other. But the point is that there are individual smaller synergies between the abilities, right? There are big synergies, right? I would qualify this one right here, right? This is a big one because Q and the E, clearly you can use the E in various different spots and all of that, right? Like that makes sense. This is a big synergy. And these are smaller synergies. But despite that, Naga still feels really good to play. All right, that just makes sense. So that's what I mean with there needs to be individual synergy between abilities. Now, every hero also needs a spell that is just good, solid, and usable. And I guess I can go into... Hello! I'm upside down and reversed. Yes. Isn't that fun? There we go. I'm back. I am back. So, every hero also needs a spell that is just good and solid and makes sense to use. Let's go through Dota heroes, right? Now, what do I mean with it needs an ability or they need an ability that is just good and solid to use? What I mean with that is you're running around the map and you run into an enemy hero and you're like, I need to do something to you. Okay. So what is that good, solid ability that is just, that's just something we can use, right? Abaddon. He can just throw the Q on somebody, right? Or there's a team fight and you can just you're looking for something to do. Something that is unconditional, something that doesn't require any sort of crazy setup, something you can just do, right? That's what I'm looking for here. An ability that will just work and will let you interact with the enemies. Without any sort of crazy setup, without any crazy teammate, just you can use it. So, let's go through this. Abaddon, Q, right? You can't just throw the Q at somebody. I mean, it's going to do a little bit of damage, but it does something, right? It lets you do something, lets you interact with people on a guaranteed level. You've got Unstable Concoction, Ancient Apparition. You can slow them, right? Cold Feet, probably not going to catch them, but you can slow them. I mean, it's not a huge interaction, but it's at least something. Anti-Mage. Now, Anti-Mage is a bit tricky. Anti-Mage is a hard carry, right? And Anti-Mage, as a hard carry, he's on a bit of a more difficult spot. He cannot really do much in the early game. But in the late game, he gets some items going. Still, what can he do? He clicks on people. And I know for that sounds kind of like a cop-out, but Anti-Mage has the tools available to him for that, right? He can blink in and then just punch you. With the mana burn, he will be hitting stronger than you, right? Arc Warden, Flux. You just throw a Flux on him. Axe, you Battle Hunger. Bane, you can just Enfeeble or Brain Zap, right? Or Sleep. Bane has a lot of options there. Batrider, you just Sticky Napalm, Flame Break, just throw them at them. You've got the Axes here. You could even just Roar or Call of the Wild, use the board to hit them. Bloodseeker is a bit trickier, but then again, Bloodseeker's ultimate has a very low cooldown. Right, so you can't just kind of throw a Rupture on somebody, you'll be fine. Bounty Hunter, you can just Shuriken Toss. With Bloodseeker, you can also throw a Blood Ride. Now, with right-click heroes, this will always be, less so, but, that's still fine. It will still be something that's available. You've got Drunken Haste. That's something that you can throw from a distance. You will always be able to use. Bristleback, you can Vicious Nasal Ghoul. Broodmother, you can just throw Spiderlings. I mean, yes, it's not going to necessarily spawn Spiderlings, but at least it does some damage, right? Saintor Warrunner. Now, this one is a bit trickier because he relies so much on Blink Dagger. But even if you don't have a Blink Dagger in a team fight, before the team fight starts, you can always throw out a Stampede, and that will just let you do something. It's not situational, it's just good. Chaos Knight, you can throw a Chaos Ball. Chen, he's got Penitence, and the Nuke, Clinks. Again, he's more right-click based, but at least he can use Skeleton Walk to get himself into good possession and just kind of spam you with Searing Arrows. You've got Clockwork, he can just throw a Rocket Flare at you, he can hookshot you, if he gets close enough, he can Battery Assault. Crystal Maiden, she freezes you, Crystal Novas you, Darkseer. He has Surge, which lets him get close enough. Point being, you may notice that I am not trying to I haven't gone through these. We can keep clicking and blindly clicking, and you will notice that every single hero on Dota just has something they can do, and you can go through all of them, and you will always notice that every single hero just has a spell they can throw out that is unconditional, that will just get something done. right? Luna, she just throws out lucent beams. Now, there's some exceptions to that, right? For example, Lone Druid. But even Lone Druid, like the bear runs on top of them and can use the Savage Roar, right? Or you can gamble for the root with the bear. Lone Druid is a little bit of a special hero. Like he's got some exceptions there. But even with him, you at least feel like you have some options because you've got the bear you will be able to overwhelm, right? Lycan can transform. Magnus, he's just got a shockwave. Medusa just got a snake. The Meepo can try to throw out the net. Every single hero just has something they can do. Just a good, solid ability that they can use in pretty much any situation, right? With Mirana, it's actually not the arrow, it's actually the Starstorm, because Starstorm got a big AoE. You'll be able to use it. Monkey King, you've got the Boundless Strike, right? Every hero needs an ability that isn't synergistic, that isn't situational, just something you can throw out and expect a positive result from, and without having to really worry about things, right? And that's just something that's really important to making the hero feel like you'll be able to have an impact on the game. If you do not have a tool that you can just throw out there and be like, cool, sick, that just got something done, you'll be in a not necessarily very ideal spot. Right? So that's what I meant with a spell that's just good and solid and usable. Then the hero needs to slot into a niche that doesn't exist, right? And now this is really difficult, especially with a game like Dota that has so many heroes already, right? But I think even though that is like an ideal scenario, you create a hero that slots into a niche that doesn't exist, at least you should know what the niche of the hero is. That's something that's very important. Now, let's talk a little bit about what makes Dota so interesting, right? And this is kind of where this is headed with this part. What makes Dota so interesting, and the entire MOBA genre as a whole, what makes people want to play it, is that everybody is given a different role and everybody's given a different purpose on a team. You've got 5 heroes on a team, and all of them kind of do something else, and they all have a different purpose. And because all of them have a different purpose, you actually don't feel like you're performing well. So let's take a look at, for example, a game like StarCraft or something, right? Like you play 3 versus 3 in StarCraft. It just kind of feels like a waste of time, to be honest, because like all players are kind of doing the same thing, and it's all about just doing it the fastest and the best. Right? If I use CSGO as an example, people will be mad at me. Because in CSGO, people are given different roles within their team as well. Right? But what's important in modern gaming, I believe, is that people are given different roles within their team. Right? That's why it makes sense that, that's why it's important that you have your like support and your carry and all of that. Because then it doesn't feel like, oh, we have 2 carries, right? Well, the one carry did better than the other carry, so fuck that other carry, right? Because, well, all of them are the same. No. This is a mid and this is a carry. They have different purposes. This is a support. This is an offlaner. They have different purposes. And because they exist in those specific niches, they are able to feel like they are contributing to the game even when they are not. And that's actually important from a game design decision, because that's what makes the games fun. If you have a game where everybody's competing on the same level, right? Everybody's competing with the same tools, then somebody that performs worse than the other players just kind of feels like they're not contributing, and that will make it not as fun to them. While if you've got, people like fighting on different levels, then it doesn't feel like that. All right? Anyway, the hero needs to serve a purpose on the team. That's kind of like the similar thing. Has an item build that's unique. I think that's kind of important. Has an item build that's unique. You just need to know what you think the hero will buy, right? Like when you're putting your hero together, think about what the hero will buy. And so chat, do you have me an overpowered ability? Let's go ahead and toss a hero together really quick, okay? Let's do that. Chat, what is your overpowered ability? Okay, where is this? Ally Resurrection. I like Ally Resurrection. Cool. Ally Resurrection. Oh, I actually forgot something on my notes. The hero needs to have limitations. The hero should not be good at everything. Right? Because if the hero is good at everything, then again, you're competing on the same level as everybody else. So we've got Ally Resurrection. Cool. That is our one ability. We've got Ally Resurrection. So let's just slot that in somewhere. Where do we slot that in? Do we make that an ultimate? Do we make that... What do we make that? Let's just say it's an ultimate, right? We just gotta start something. Do we make that an E? Just tell me, is it a regular ability or is it an ultimate? It's an ultimate. Okay, you want it to be an ultimate. Cool. So Ally Resurrection is our ultimate. Cool. So, we have our R. So what we need now is, well, we need to think about, okay, well, is this going to be usable very often, or is this going to be usable not that often? And now this is, by the way, the first step of designing. You're just going to have to come up with some shit. Right? Just come up with something. What do you want the hero to do? So this is kind of like your broken shit. 70 seconds, so that's not that often. Somebody says very often. Often, but a channel. Every time you die. Channel invests in just 100 seconds, 40 seconds. You know what? Let's make it broken. Let's make it fucking broken, okay? It's got 30 seconds cooldown. 30 seconds cooldown. Okay? So cool. That's our overpowered shit. So, we want something that synergizes with this. So, let's think about something what synergizes. Hello. Let's think about something that synergizes with this ultimate. What would make sense to synergize with something that resurrects people? Alright? We need a Q, W, and E. Mobility, a heal, invisibility. No, invisibility, mobility kind of thing, like a protection. Let's think this through a little bit more. How does this work? How does this resurrection work? Let's say, essentially, when a hero dies, they leave the tombstone, right? They leave a tombstone. And you can click on the tombstone to sit there, start channel, to kind of like channel on the tombstone, and then they come back, right? And the ultimate scales, like ultimate has a cooldown a little bit. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to say it has no cooldown. No cooldown. But it has a channel time. And the channel time kind of scales like with 10 seconds. And then it has like 7 seconds. And then it has 5 seconds or something like that. Or 4, I guess. Right? That's our channel. Right? No cooldown. Fuck that. No cooldown. It has no cooldown. Now it's a passive. You can just resurrect people. Boom. So, that makes sense, right? So what synergizes with that? We're going to stand there, we're going to channel. So, what is going to happen when we stand there and channel? People will want to attack us. People will want to stop the channel. So we ideally want something that gives us like status resistance. But status resistance still means unless it's 100% we're going to get interrupted. Magic immunity would be super, super good. But that's kind of lame. We don't really want magic immunity. Let's say a passive Lincoln's. A Lincoln's. Cool. Nobody has a Lincoln's type ability. Bubble Orb. Bubble Orb? I like it. Let's make it Bubble Orb. Right? So, we've got our W. Like this here is the... So, we'll make the W. Make it bubble. Bubble. Protects from the outside. From outside. Cool. Okay. We'll make that the W. So, obviously, hardcore synergy. Boom. Sick. Awesome. Okay. What ability does this hero have? That's just a good ability. Give me an ability that's just something we can use to throw at people. We don't have to think about it. It's just good. Just give me a good Q. Right? A knockback. Knockback, I like it. A knockback. Right? Because let's think this through. So, let's say the Q. What does it do? It does some... Q is some... damage. Plus knockback. And it's vector targeted. Because the vector targeting is cool. Why not? It's kind of fun. Right? Boom. It's just vector targeted damage and knockback. Get him out of here. Okay, that's the Q. So that clearly has synergy here. Right? Clearly synergy here. Has no synergy with ultimate, because with the ultimate I want to channel, right? And the Q, well, I cannot use the Q while I'm channeling. It doesn't fucking work. So that doesn't do anything. So, okay, this ability is just good though. Right? We'll just be able to cast this. This is fine. Pretty much in every situation we'll be able to cast this. This is a lot more situational. This is honestly kind of like, this is cool. It's Bubble Orb. It's fine. It's a cool ability. Right? And we've got an ultimate. You get a passive. You can resurrect people. What does the E do? So, well, we are mostly looking for a synergy with the Q right now, I think. Right? So the Q, what does the Q do? It does some damage. It knocks people back. And currently the hero is kind of about like protecting teammates and all of that stuff. Q goes with R2 a little bit, yeah, a little bit, but not like super hardcore. An AoE heal, slow, wall that blocks people. I would like to make it a passive. Let's make it a passive, because like if it's a passive, we can also have it synergize with the ultimate pretty nicely. Right? So what would be a good passive for this hero? Slow when an enemy gets close. Hello, what's up?
Nothing ever works.
Okay, nothing ever works. Start, what's up?
My computer is broken.
Why is your computer broken?
It's going beep, 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 which means, a video card has come unseated.
Oh, that's... Okay, well, we'll look at that later, okay?
Yeah, I'm just gonna, like, give it a clean and,
Okay, it's fine. I mean, you can just slot the video card back in, it's fine.
Yeah,
Alright,
it's
well...
because I put my monitor cable in and it must have
Yeah.
pulled it out or something.
Okay, passive, more damage for each hero inside the bubble. No, it's an individual ability. Like, I don't like that super forced type of... We're making a hero.
Oh.
I just explained how to make a hero, and now we're making a hero.
Twitch chat, you guys are cute.
Why?
It's a helping. Aw.
No, I'm not. I'm just I'm explaining them. This is not actually going to be added into anything.
I know, but that's really cool. I like that.
Okay, well, goodbye.
Good job. Hi guys. Hi.
All right.
It's me, Hand.
So let's think about this a little bit, right? So we want something that's kind of synergistic with the Q, and kind of synergistic with the R, but not synergistic with the W. Ideally. Right? A health regeneration aura that's reduced by the amount of people in the AoE. Fuck it, let's go with it. What do you guys think about that? Like, the more enemies are within the AoE, the less health regeneration it is. You don't like it? Okay. Well, give me a different idea. Damage resistance, stance resistance when standing still. Okay. You guys are very invested in this hero that we're making. Has no synergy with ultimate. I guess. Enemies damaged by this hero are slow. The less damage distance the vacuum, the more you slow. Well, what's something that's gonna make us so... Reduce the enemy vision. Enemies in aura radius have their stats reduced by 15. No, it's kind of lame. Increase the aura. If allies resurrect at 15%, it does though. Yeah, but ally resurrection wouldn't be at full HP. Yeah, it would be a heal. Like, it would be like a percent. Like 50% probably, I think sounds fair. Right? They wouldn't resurrect at 100% HP. That would be super fucking broken. Right? So they resurrect at 50%. You know what? I like that E. I'm gonna write it down. I don't care if you guys like it. So, aura. Health region. Gets reduced per enemy. Per enemy in radius. In radius. Okay. And maybe it does like more healing the closer you are to her. Something like that. But that's our E. Right? So that kind of is synergistic with the... That's synergistic here. because you want to push people away to make it so this is stronger. And it's synergistic here because you want to be, when you resurrect people, you also need to have some healing. And you know what? It's actually a little bit synergistic right here as well because, you want to be close to people. Right? Let's say more healing, more if closer. So that's our hero. That's our hero. What do you think of this hero? So, we've got, to kind of reiterate, the Q is a knockback that does damage, is vector targeted. The W creates bubble orb, so it creates a little bubble, and any spells or attacks coming in from the outside are negated. The E is an aura that provides health regeneration. That aura is weaker if enemies are within the radius, and it is stronger if people are close to her. Like if it's close, if she's close to allies. Maybe we don't need this. Honestly, I don't like this part too much. Maybe we just make it so the closer you are to the hero, the stronger. And then we've got the ultimate. By the way, I have Mercy in my head while we're talking about this, so I keep calling her she. But I just have Mercy in my head because of the resurrection. And the ultimate makes it so that when an ally dies, you see a tombstone. You can click on the tombstone to channel. And then if you manage to complete the channel, they resurrect with 50% HP. Alright. That's a hero. So how do you feel about this hero? Does this hero sound like fun? I think this sounds like a fun hero, doesn't it? Sounds kind of like a fun hero. E is a bit too complicated. Yeah, I don't like this part. I think we can reduce per enemy. We can remove that gets reduced per enemy in the radius. We can just make it aura health region, and if you are closer to her, it's more. Right? So it might be 100 health region or something dumb like that, and it's only 100% if you're right next to her, and it's like 0% if you're 900 AoE away. Right? But it's just a constant aura that heals. Right? And it is something she's good at. She has no farming tool, so she kind of sucks at that. That's good. She has a niche. It's clearly a support. The ultimate is absurd. She has an item build, which is interesting because she wants invisibility as soon as possible to be able to cast the ultimate. Right? The bubble will help her protect while resurrecting. Enemies need to actually get close to get out of it. Synergy between all of the abilities, but there's not too much synergy, right? This kind of has synergy here, I guess. I guess this ability is really like what's holding it together. But this and this has no synergy. Like, it's just some solid stuff in here. She wants allies to die. No, she doesn't want allies to die. It's just people will die. I mean, there's no reason why she wouldn't be able to use it. I mean, we might need to put some limitations on the ultimate, maybe so that if people die, like, she can only resurrect for a certain amount of time, right? She can only resurrect people for, like, 15 seconds, and then if she doesn't do it within that time frame, the tombstone disappears or something like that. But that's our hero. So, yeah. So, what do you think about it? What do you think about our little hero here? Again, I'm gonna hold it in to, like... This is the hero we made. I mean, of course it's not the world's greatest hero. Right? But it took us like fucking 10 seconds. And it's pretty cool, isn't it? We just followed the rules I laid out and explained to you. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to leave a rating on the video if you're watching this on YouTube. If you did enjoy chat, please let me know. And yeah, anyway. Once I start doing like thinking bottle work, we'll probably have little sessions like this a lot more often.